So last lesson we had a bit of a mess around with CAD, and you had a bit of free choice and you could draw whatever you like and put any shapes on it. And that was just to let you find a few of the tools and solve a few problems for yourself. But now we want to design something that's a little bit more constrained, so it's more standard and everyone does exactly the same thing, to be able to test your skills in making something exact rather than just one big block with a few holes in it. So that it's got the right sizes, and if we did want to be able to print it, they'd all actually end up exactly the same. So we're going to start a new part again, and again, rather than the main icon, we're going to choose the drop down arrow there and go down to a new part. Now, hopefully you've got a folder set up in your Z drive, your network drive, that's called CAD, so CAD, and in that folder you can store all of these parts. If you save to the inventor folder that's in your network drive, and I can't show you because mine isn't a student account, but when you go save as, you should be able to go down to which will be your network drive. Mine says J Phillips, but if there's an inventor folder inside that, which is there automatically, please don't save inside that folder, save into the CAD folder that you've just made instead. So we've got, I'll just actually go back out of this. We've got a new sketch, and I just made two of them accidentally, but we've got a new sketch that you've started here. And again, we're going to press the middle button of the mouse and drag that down and start drawing this dice. And we're going to start the dice with a rectangle. So we're going to start a new rectangle, start on the center point so it locks on. You can see that little green dot goes on top of it, and click once and bring the mouse out here. And the first time we do this, we're going to just make it so it looks like a square. Click the mouse a second time, so we've got 2-point rectangle. And using the dimension tool, so click on dimension tool, I can put dimensions on both of these lines to be able to make them exactly 40 millimeters. So I'm going to click on this one once, drag this out here, and I'll put the dimension down anywhere outside the line. I like to put it sort of central though, so put it once there, click once there, and I'll put it down, and I'm going to type over top 40, and then press enter, and it makes the length of that box 40, and you can see that that's shot up and it's gone off my screen. I'm not too worried about it being off my screen at the moment. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So the bottom line here, I'm going to click once down here, and then type 40 and press enter, or you can press the green tick there, doesn't matter. Now you can see both of them are off my screen, so I can press the front here, and that will realign my view so that I can see the whole square inside the screen there. So that's done. I just wanted to quickly show you what this fully constrained means. My line colors are slightly different to yours on your computer, but if I deleted this dimension, so click on that dimension and delete it, you don't have to do that, but you'll see that this line changes color, and yours are probably purple and green, I think. So they're purple like this, but it goes green when it needs to have a dimension on it. And if I click and drag that line around, I can move it, but this one I can't move. It's stuck in place, and that's because I've got a full dimension on there. So this says one dimension needed, but you notice that when I lock this in place by putting the 40 millimeters back on there, it'll say that it's fully constrained. So now none of those lines or ends of the lines can actually move around. So we want to draw every part of this dice so it says fully constrained. Every time we leave one of these sketches, we want to make sure it's fully constrained. So press finish sketch, and goes to that 3D view, and you can zoom in and out with your mouse, the scroll wheel a little bit if you like, and pan it across so you can see the whole thing. We're going to just press extrude here, and this time we'll extrude, same as we did before, so extrude up, but we're going to change that to be 40 millimeters, and we'll press OK. So now when we go to the home view, mine says front, right and bottom, and I'm not sure what yours is going to say. I think it probably actually has top on here, so I'm going to just rotate mine around so it's the same, so it says top, right and front. I think we'll if everyone does that, so we draw on the top to start with. Okay, so the top is going to be here, and we're going to put a number 1 on that. So In this video, we're just going to do number 1, and then next video we'll start looking at the different numbers. So we're going to start a new sketch, go to the top of this, so click on the top there, rotates it around. Again, mine's a bit funny at the moment, but I think yours will probably look like this. We're going to do a new circle, so a circle on top of this face, and we should get some lines to be able to line that up, but it doesn't really matter. So you can see that if I go to the center of that line there, it's in the center point of that line, it's touching on it. And if I go straight down from that, you can see there's a little dotted line there now. It doesn't really matter if I don't get exactly on it, but that's a bit of a guide to help me put this circle in the right spot. So I'll click once there, and let's make them perhaps 5mm holes at the moment. So I can click with my mouse there, and it's not quite 5, but I'll choose the dimension tool, click once on the outside of the circle, and once out here to place the dimension, and I'll change that to 5mm. Now at the moment, if I press OK, I can still move that circle around on the screen. Okay, so it still moves around, but I can't change the outside diameter of it because that's fixed. So it still moves around, and it's saying I need 2 dimensions. That's because it moves up and down and left and right. So if I choose the dimension tool and say from the very center of the circle, so don't click on the dimension that's already there, but click on the very center point there. So from the center of the circle to this line, so that's 2 clicks, and then a 3rd click to be able to place that, and I want to make it 20mm from that edge. You can see that's pushed it across, and when I try and drag the circle around now, it can go up and down, but it can't go left and right because it's locked in that direction. So I can press dimension again, and then click on the center of the circle and the top of the dice perhaps, and then I need to put a dimension out here that says 20mm. Okay, so I've got 2 dimensions for the position and 1 dimension for the outside of the circle, and that's locked in place. So I press finish sketch, then I can press extrude. You notice as well, just quickly, if you hover over extrude, it says there's next to it's got an E in brackets, and that's because you can press E on your keyboard and it will automatically come up with that menu. Choose the profile, so choose that circle, and I want to cut that in, and I only want to cut in about 2mm. So we'll leave that as 2mm in for now. Press OK, and that's the first hole of our dice done. And the next video we'll look at doing a few other numbers. Some of the numbers you'll do by yourself, so perhaps I'll get you to do 2 by yourself. So do it on this face on the front. So new sketch, on that face, do 2 circles, and we'll make them perhaps 10mm away from the corner here and 10mm away from this corner, so they're evenly spaced, but they're still both fully constrained. So if you can do that by yourself, then in the next video I'll show you how to do number 3 on this face.